Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to Booksy Ambassador Bootcamp. Here we are at the top of the hour, and as everyone starts joining us and we begin on our journey of what it looks like and what it takes to be a Booksy Ambassador, I'm going to hand things over to Taz Sarley, who is our U.S. Ambassador Community Manager and who will be piloting our discussion today as we learn all about the Booksy Ambassador program and we get to go through what exactly that looks like. So take it away, Taz.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Julia. So today, to kick off our webinar series, you guys know we have this revolving door of webinars. To kick off, what better fitting topic for us to kick off the year with? We were talking about everything ambassador this year, how to become a Booksy ambassador for 2022. And I'm so glad that all of you could join us. And I'm hoping today's call would shed some light on any questions you guys might have regarding ambassadors. So without further ado, let's kick it off and meet the group that will be hosting with us today. So we will do a quick roundtable intro of the guys hosting with us. The group, I'll kick it off. And then I will pass it off to our lovely ambassadors as well to introduce themselves. So let me actually show you guys our faces. So let me stop sharing really quickly. I'll introduce myself really quickly and then kick it off to Julia and then we'll follow suit. So I'm Tasneem. You guys can call me Taz. I am the Ambassador Community Manager for the US, responsible for ambassador and community relationships. I've been with Booksy for about 4.5 years now. And recently transitioned into the ambassador role. Very excited to be here. And like I said, I'm hoping to answer any questions you guys have about the ambassador program that we have running here at Booksy. Julia, I'll kick it over to you.
Thank you so much, Taz. So hi, everyone. My name is Julia Yab. I'm the social media specialist here at Booksy and especially for Booksy US. What that means in terms of today is aside from moderating our chat so that if anyone has any questions as we go, you can drop them right in the chat and I'll grab them and I'll make sure that when we get to the question sections, we'll go right through all of you. And aside from that, I'll be moderating today. And when we get to the point of talking about what ambassadors looks like in the world of social media, I'll tell you a little bit about how that functions for Booksy in terms of things like webinars and things like blogs and that sort of a thing. So from there, I believe it's time to introduce our amazing ambassadors who are with us today. And I'm going to go from my left to my right and hand it over to Leroy.
Hello, everybody. My name is Leroy, aka Roy Lee the Barber, and I am a barber out here in Houston, Texas. And I'm a Booksy ambassador. I've been a barber now for about 4 or 5 years. I've been cutting hair pretty much my whole life. And I just joined the Booksy team last year, and it's probably been one of the best experiences I've had with being an ambassador or being, promoting content with the company.
Over to you, Alex.
So my name is Alexandra Nanette, also known as Nails by Nanette on Instagram. I've been doing nails professionally for a little over 5 years. It's been a hobby ever since I was a little girl, though. And I started my own suite. I want to say it's been 4 years, and I've been with Booksy for 3 years, and it's been such a fun ride, so exciting. And yeah, I'm excited to talk to you guys today about hopefully being a Booksy ambassador.
Wonderful. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today and hosting with us today. Lots of good information to share. And so good that, future ambassadors could hear from current ambassadors what it's like in the day of life of a Booksy ambassador. So let's look at what we'll be covering today. We'll take a quick look at our agenda. So we'll go through a couple of topics today. So we'll explore what an ambassador is. We'll look at our mission and objectives in terms of our ambassador program and what we are trying to achieve with our program here. We'll look at the structure of the ambassador program and who we're looking for, and then also conclude with how you can become an ambassador and what the next steps are. So without further ado, let's look at what is an ambassador. All right, for this one, before I explain what ambassador is, I think it would be really great if we heard from our ambassadors in your own words. What does it mean to be a brand ambassador? And if you had to explain to somebody who's never heard the concept brand ambassador before, how would you explain that in layman's terms?
I guess I'll go first. For me, I feel like an ambassador is the person who is the face of the company that people can get familiar with. So whenever someone thinks of Booksy, when I think to myself, I want to be so familiar that as soon as you see me, you see Booksy, someone who's gonna represent the brand in a positive light and just constantly put information out there. Someone who's an expert with actually using the product. So when it comes to an ambassador, that's what it means to me, and that's what I am for the company.
I agree. I think being an ambassador, you're kind of like an extension of the brand. So, the way I like to look at it is kind of like one of those modern day like commercials, except we're not paid actors. We actually, use and believe in the product or the brand enough to be able to, tell others why we like it so much and why they will also like it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, guys. So let's look at what an ambassador means to us. There we go, screen sharing. By definition, what is an ambassador? Dictionary definition of an ambassador is someone who promotes a brand and its product to their networks with the objective, operative word, objective of increasing brand awareness and helping drive reach. Booksy's definition, coupled with the dictionary definition, is here at Booksy, we are building a community of cross-brand support. When we talk about cross-brand support, we are here to support you, support your brand, support your business with tools and resources and opportunities for you to become successful, and vice versa, for you to support our brand by using, trusting, and advocating for us. When it comes to being a brand ambassador, there's a combination of online and offline promotion tactics to market our brand on a personal and direct level. When we talk about online tactics, we talk about online word of mouth, so engaging with people who ask you questions on your social media or online platforms. Social content, that's creating content that speaks about our brand, that speaks about relatable experiences that you experience behind the chair and how Booksy is able to solve that for you. And then also engaging in social groups, forums, Facebook groups, wherever they are, these social groups where you are able to partake in. So that's online. And then offline is sampling and product demos. So for example, somebody walking into your shop asking, how does Booksy work? You being able to talk about the Booksy product, talk about issues that Booksy has been able to resolve for you. Another component of offline marketing is marketing material, so brand awareness in your salon, at your booth, having Booksy brand and collateral, and just creating a buzz and brand awareness around your station. And then also word of mouth. Anybody who stops you in the street, you are able to talk about the Booksy brand authentically and organically because it is something that you use in your day-to-day. Another definition of what we like to define as ambassador is educating your audience from a direct and relatable level and bringing an experience. So when I talk about relatable experience, so Booksy identified obviously a market gap to fill when it came to scheduling appointments for end users and making it easier. However, from your guys' side, being behind the chair, you guys face day-to-day entrepreneurial struggles and challenges of being behind the chair, trying to fill your chair, dealing with no-shows, dealing with cancellations. And in experiencing the Booksy product, your audience and our audience is able to hear from people who have relatable experience and direct experience in the same challenges and same struggles that you guys deal with on a day-to-day, making more trustworthy, someone just like them experiencing the exact same issues and difficulties in their life as a beauty professional, so that they are able to trust and use us comfortably and confidently. So that is Booksy's definition of being an ambassador. Going over to the next slide, the benefits of being a Booksy brand ambassador. Now, I'm here to tell you that on both sides, there is benefit to Booksy having ambassadors, as well as benefit to you guys becoming Booksy ambassadors. So just taking a quick look in terms of what are the benefits for Booksy. Using your audience for increased market outreach in order to reach places that we as Booksy, as a company, as our social media are not able to reach on our own. That being very, how can I say, direct and impactful. Being able to engage audience, fans, and supporters by getting you involved and having a voice in our direction and decision as a company, and giving you a chance to take part in our company. So it's a win-win. And that ties directly into the next segment of seeding virality. There needs to be a community to share our experience, creating experiences. And when we come together as a team in terms of the benefits of Booksy, it is much more impactful and bigger when it comes to a seeded and close-knit community spreading the same message. So when it comes to benefits for you, recognition and publicity, so expanding your brand media coverage. We are affiliated with a few trade publications, magazines as well, so there are definitely opportunities for us to help in terms of publicity. Free Booksy subscription, amplified referral, compensation for content. We look at exclusive Booksy merch, event sponsorship and participation. When it comes to education, collaboration, and opportunities, you have a chance to teach webinars, get featured in our blogs, which Julia will cover in a few slides. And then also in-house internal benefits as an ambassador. We have ambassador galas and exclusive team prizes every quarter. So that's a little juicy. That's a top level of what the benefits are of being a Booksy brand ambassador for you and the benefits for us. So I wanted to kind of pause here for a second, as well as go through a couple of slides when it comes to our objectives in having an ambassador team, a community to support us offline and online. So a lot of companies who start out like very, very early on in like business development, secure ambassadors to obviously for brand awareness, to increase reach, etc. But as Booksy is expanding, one thing that we have seen is that relationship building, especially when it comes to new beauty categories, people who have been cutting hair for 20 years, now moving into the tech world, now making sure that they have appointments, especially after COVID. You know, COVID forced us in a direction of appointment-based solutions only. There are no options for walk-ins anymore. So our objective is building a supportive and engaged community to spread our message. That is our overarching objective. Overall, above all else, we want to make sure that people understand in-house, externally, everybody that's affiliated with us, we are going after one objective, one goal, and that we are a community running behind the same thing. Second objective is to expand Booksy brand awareness in all beauty categories that we aren't that well recognized yet, and using your help to get there. And the third is Booksy is a place of education. We don't just consider ourselves an appointment-based scheduling solution any longer. We are much more than that. Fortunately, we have been able to evolve and grow and offer you much more than just an appointment booking software or app. So we have a revolving door of education and resources for you, for potential providers to not only, enhance their skills, but also an opportunity for you guys to teach other providers a new skill or enhance their skills as well. And in our first objective, or overarching objective, our community building initiatives. So when you guys think about community building or team building, right? Here at Booksy, company culture and a strong team is very, very important to us. And it's in everything we do. It's everything that we preach about. It's in all our messaging. And it's a very important aspect of who we are. And the same sentiment is shared in our community and the people who represent us. So when you think about community, this is all about finding your tribe, being part of a team, building each other up. So, for example, if you are training in a group or you're training with a partner, think about gym, right? When you're training with somebody, you are more likely to push harder or be pushed harder if you have that accountability. It's more fun when you're doing it with somebody. You produce better work, you put your best foot forward. They shared learning experiences. Obviously, they are very, very similar challenges and strenuouses in the industry as well. If you are able to share that with somebody in our community, we have our barbers talking amongst themselves, share tips and tricks to get people behind your chair, share tips and tricks of features to use inside of the Booksy app to obviously, increase revenue and different tactics that we share in-house. So when it comes to shared learning, and then high fidelity feedback. This one is quite crucial for us. We rely heavily on our community to give us direction or tell us if we are going in the right direction. When it comes to features, when it comes to events, when it comes to messaging, when it comes to public-facing messaging, when it comes to content, we rely on you guys heavily to tell us, if we are hitting the mark or if we need to change direction. And in all, when it comes to community, we want you to stand up for the industry and Booksy to be the platform for you to stand up so you can thrive behind the chair. I hope I explained my initiatives for building community and the importance thereof. Before I jump into the program structure, I want to pause here for a second and ask Leroy and Alex, just from being a brand ambassador with Booksy for so long and possibly being affiliated with other brands, how does Booksy or being a brand ambassador for Booksy differ at all, if any, from other influencer positions you have had or considered?
For myself, some other deals, I'm trying to think, other brands that I may have somewhat been an ambassador for. Sometimes I didn't even really use the product or the app, whatever. So I really couldn't explain it. Like I didn't have any background in it. So with Booksy, with being a barber, being on the app day in, day out, and being able to actually see the benefits makes it a lot easier. It's way more believable than me just sitting here saying, hey, try out this new lotion or whatever the case may be that I don't even truly believe in. So when it comes to being a Booksy ambassador, it made it so easy because I believe in it. I use the product, and I've been with Booksy even before I become an ambassador. So it made it that much easier, and for me to be able to tell people about it. What I'm saying? It just seems like very, very organic. So yeah, that's what kind of differed. Other times it was just, maybe I was promoting something that I really didn't believe in, and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to be attached to something that you don't believe in. So for the people that are in this chat, if you do want to become a Booksy ambassador, it really feels like a family over here because I talk to Taz quite a bit. You're very easy to get a hold of. So for me, it's very warm and welcoming. It isn't just there's no disattachment.
I agree. I mean, being a Booksy ambassador was so easy because I actually use the app, love the app, clients love the app. So it's just really easy to be, an ambassador that way. But I really love how inclusive Booksy makes you as an ambassador. I've have been an ambassador for other products companies, and they don't really care too much about what you think it could go or changes that you could make or anything like that. So I really love that. And I also love the community. I mean, I've met so many talented artists and influencers. It's been great. When we say it's a Booksy family, it's actually a Booksy family. So it's been such a positive being a Booksy ambassador, and it's so easy because the product's amazing.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that. Leroy seemed to have been disconnected, but just to echo what you and Leroy said, it's so important for us that the people who are speaking about our product are familiar with our product and they actually use it in their day-to-day. Just somebody stopping you randomly in the street and asking you about books, you should be able to talk about it because it's something that you use in your day-to-day. So that for us is very, very important. And to your point on social media, I think social media is so vast, so broad. And when you speak about a product, I think your audience relates to you so well that they are able to see through whether or not that is very organic. It's something that you talk about, that you believe in, or it's something that you are just being asked to talk about. So I appreciate that about you guys. And I see that on a day-to-day on your guys' social media. I mean, it's like, okay.
Yeah. No, and I think that's why it's so important to actually believe in the product, because it doesn't sound like you're selling something, when people come up to me and ask me about it, whether it be other, nail influencers in the community or just my clients, I love the product so much that it just naturally comes out, so that's why I do highly recommend using the product, the app or whatever it is, because it sounds more organic, like you said, Taz, earlier. It does. It sounds more organic.
I'm gonna switch gears here just for a quick second, Alex. What is your favorite feature of Booksy?
Oh my gosh. I get this all the time, and it hasn't changed. My favorite feature is the cancellation feature, just because, it happens, life happens, and sometimes people cancel last minute or whatever the case is, and I still get paid with that. So and I can bring in another client and it's like I got paid double and stuff. So that's like my favorite feature. But after that, I would say definitely the forums that you guys had put after COVID. I love that. And I have a esthetician friend who I actually got on Booksy, and she says that she loves it. She just sends her form before her clients come in, and it cuts the time. And I'm like, it's amazing. I think that was one of my favorite things after COVID, that you get, one of the new features that you guys had put. I really enjoy that as well.
Love it. That's fantastic to hear, because to your point, you're 100% correct. Those custom forms were introduced at the time of COVID to obviously make sure that, safety measures were made, and everybody was keeping safe at the time. But it's still one of our most favorited and loved features up till this day. So that's fantastic to hear.
Yeah,
I know we have a million more things to discover, but I do just want to shout out from our incredibly active chat. All of you are amazing. But as soon as you said forums, Alex, like people lit up, like Celicia, yes, I love the forums. Farron, yes, hold those clients accountable. Like, so
you guys know.
Shout out.
Yeah, those forms are amazing. And that's what I love about Booksy, is that you guys are continuously trying to see how the app can better the person using it, whether it be on the client side or the actual professional, the user. So I did love all the cool little features that you guys did do after COVID, and then with the new Booksy Pro too, that it's amazing. I loved it.
So really quickly before we move on, because I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat who are saying that they're new to Booksy. So first of all, welcome to all of you, whether you are here as someone who has been using Booksy for years and years, or whether you're here and as Ruby says, I'm new to Booksy and I'm in love already, which is like so sweet. Thank you, Ruby. That's amazing. So I'm just going to quick drop this in the chat. We'll talk specifically about educational webinars, ones like this one later on. But if you are new to Booksy, or if you just really want to like get a brush up on everything that the app involves, if you're going, what is forums? How does that work? I'm going to drop in the chat a link right now. This link is for our app-specific webinars. So if you click this link, and every link that I drop in the chat, you'll be able to access after the webinar is done. Don't feel like you have to do it now. But if you click that link, it'll take you to our app-specific webinars page, and specifically to a great webinar called Intro to Booksy Pro. And that webinar will really help you, again, whether you're a new user or you just want to brush up, it will help you with all of the specific features about Booksy that really might make a difference for you, and just let you really feel like And of course, you can use Booksy at whatever level you need. If all that you need is appointment booking, that's great. But if you're wondering about these things like forms, or you don't know cancellation policy or anything like that, check out that webinar series. It really, truly will make a difference. And some of our experts at Booksy are the ones who lead it, so they will be able to talk you through anything. So, okay, that's my little plug for the non-educational webinars.
Thanks, Julia. Do we know if Leroy is back?
I have not seen him yet, but as soon as he is, he will just join right back in with us. So for now, let us just power onward with the rest of the conversation. And as soon as you're ready, and everyone in the chat, I've been collecting all of your questions. Don't worry, they are being seen and we will get to them.
Beautiful. Well, we do have some time for questions in between as well as the end. So, if there are any questions that come up, Julia, feel free to shout it, to throw it our way. But I will continue with the presentation as soon as my screen, there we go. All right. So taking a look at our program structure. So we have 4 or 5, if you want to be a little particular, about the tiers that we have in terms of our ambassadors that we have on board. So we have our creators with mass appeal, celebrity status in the industry. They act as creative consultants for Booksy. So those are the ones who've obviously had lots and lots of experience as being an ambassador. They know exactly what works. They know what doesn't work. They have great connections, and they are able to see us in the right direction with the ability for us to utilize their mass appeal in terms of audience. So we have a greater reach. We have our experts. So our experts are our content creators and experts in their fields. They are community leaders and mentors. We rely on them heavily for education as well. Since they are experts, they have lots of education under the belt. They are mentors. They want to see people strive. They want to educate people on tools, resources, how to better their business. So they do come forward to us, create content that's obviously valuable to their audience, valuable to Booksy, so that we are able to get that message out on socials. We have our influencers. Our influencers are partners and active Booksy users, very, very important for us, who foster relationships through leadership and authenticity. These are influencers who heavily partake in social media when it comes to content, when it comes to discussions, it comes to our social media pages. They're very active and very involved, and they do answer a lot of questions that comes up on our comments on our social medias as well. So those are our influencers who are able to talk about our brand very organically and very authentically. And then we have our regional and local heroes. When it comes to our local heroes, they are our partners in regional and local areas with reach, and they have strong networks. Again, they are active Booksy users who build and maintain relationships in communities Booksy serves or hopes to serve. So think about it as this network effect, us utilizing our resources or our heroes that we have in-house to help us reach places that we have not reached and hope to serve in the future.
So I think that should have answered a few of the questions that people had in the chat in terms of some of the overall categories for ambassadors. And I just want to let a couple people know, seeing from Octavia, qualifications to become an ambassador, we are getting to that. Qualifications from India, qualifications, specifically just general question on how from Dion, question on whether there's a minimum number of posts and stories from a few of you, including Liz. Just wanted to let you know that answer is coming. And then qualifications, questions from a few people, including Kathleen, about whether you can become a Booksy ambassador with a lower following. So what Taz just referenced about regional and local heroes, that's more of the section that is. But if Taz, if you would be willing to, before we go on, just talk a little bit about, because of course following, Taz will be right back. I can answer this part. Following is not the number one thing. Following is not the number one thing that controls who is or who isn't a Booksy ambassador. It has to do with a lot of things. And as everyone knows, as was mentioned earlier, in this world that we're in right now with 2022 and with COVID, there is such a focus on being able to be specifically a content creator. So here at Booksy especially, we're very aware that there's different types of abilities that are needed depending on maybe the campaign that we're doing or the webinar that we're doing. So from us, you're never going to hear that it's only going to be people with 100,000 followers that are Booksy ambassadors and nobody else. You're not going to hear that from us. And now that we've got Taz back, I will let her answer the rest of that. Just so the focus of the question is, can someone with a low following be qualified for ambassadorship?
Absolutely, 100%. Excellent question. When it does come to our tiers, all good and well, I think every ambassador program should have a structure. But social media is, I wouldn't say, is a true reflection of your influence and community reach. So we partner up with people who have small followings as well, because those same people with 1,000 followers are the same people who can bring 1,000 people to an event and sign up 1,000 people. So we definitely, obviously from our side, the most important thing is that you use and that you believe in Booksy, and that you are able to advocate for us. And from there, obviously, we are able to have conversations on how we can amplify and get you into our program. So that is not a limiting factor. We do take into consideration, the type of content that you're putting out there, the type of advocacy that you have for our Booksy brand, and any form of, like I said, online or offline marketing, especially if you are involved with some of your local Booksy reps that are able to refer you and advocate for you. We are very, very open to checking out your social media and seeing how we can partner and collaborate together. So I did get kicked off there for a second, so I am going to share my screen, and then we can continue. Before I continue, was there any other questions that I missed, Julia?
Those were the main questions that aren't going to immediately be answered in what comes next. Did see a couple questions.
Yes, I made it. Sorry, guys.
Welcome back.
In my office room, it was messing up, so I had to come into my kitchen.
That is all right. That is perfect timing for you to be back.
Oh my God, what's going on?
Absolutely. We were just answering a couple of questions from the chat in terms of our program structure and who can become an ambassador if they do not have a large following. And we were just talking about, being open to the ones who do have the regional and local influence to bring us the reach that we do need. So it's not just based on your social media following.
When I left off, I think Alexandria was talking about her favorite part of the app, and she was saying with the cancellation, which is mine also. But also, I like the fact that I could get booked while I sleep. Like every
Yes.
night, every day when I wake up in the morning, I got a slew of just bookings. Whether it's from 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, people are booking at any time. So that 24/7 booking, is way better than when it was just a regular walk-in, coming into a barbershop. And especially double booking. I used to hate having to do that, telling somebody that I will come at they could come at 12 and I already got somebody there. So those were some of the things that I really love about the app. I know you guys talked about that previously, but I was listening, still trying to log on.
I agree with that. I do. I agree with that. I love the booking 24/7 is how I like to call it. I'm out sleeping, or, sometimes I'm in a restaurant, on my day off, and I'm, getting the bookings. So I do love that. And then I did want to mention about the having the large following, about that question. That's what's really cool about being a micro influencer, is that you don't have to have the following of, a celebrity. And, it's really not so much about the numbers. I think it's just the influence of, the people around you. And it doesn't even have to be on, so much on social media. It's word of mouth. It's your peers or family members that are in the business, that you can connect with the app. So, yeah, following, it's cool to have, but I don't think so much it's that big of a requirement to be, an ambassador.
Absolutely. Thank you. And Leroy, thanks for answering that question. I was actually going to throw you for a loop when you least expected it. I was going to ask you what is your favorite Booksy feature, but you beat me to it. Okay, so let me continue sharing my screen. And then we can talk through the rest of it with stops in between to obviously ask questions. So let's get right back to it. Okay, so we went through our program structure, and now let's take a look at our ongoing Booksy Ambassador engagement. These are what we call like evergreen engagement that we have constantly going, whether it be social, whether it be education. And this is also, I would say this is like sort of our platform for education, our webinar platform. And then we have events as well. When it comes to content, as an ambassador, you generate user content, whether it be talking about a feature, whether it be just talking about the Booksy product as a whole, advocating for us on your social media, static posts, or amplifying any marketing material that we put on board. So that's content. We have video production content. For example, there are opportunities for us to partner with our ambassadors when, for example, we asked they're currently in a campaign, Switch to Better Booking, where we had a couple of production videos go out for our ads, for performance marketing, making sure that we got the message out there. So we partner with our ambassadors to kind of be the faces of any campaigns that we have running. And then another good piece of content that we always favor is behind the scenes content, because this is really where the magic happens. Whenever we do have events, meetups, just general chats, we like to document or at least capture that, because it's a lot of like tips and trick sharing, a lot of information sharing across barbers, across nail techs, across beauty professionals, etc. Everybody has their own tips and tricks for them to share with their counterparts, and we really love to capture this, because this is, you know, kind of where they are in their, how can I say, real natural state of information sharing. So we love to capture that and also put it out there. When it comes to education, as I was mentioning on a few previous slides, we have this revolving door of education, whether it be in-person or virtual education. You know, if you are, for example, we recently did a class with one of our ambassadors, hairstylist. He did an in-person education class where we invited a couple of providers to join us. The Booksy users or non-Booksy users are able to participate in those events, learn a new skill, learn, you know, something different, or obviously enhance your skills, or virtually, which would look very, very similar to this. So we'll partner with some of our ambassadors to do our next one. Julia, I know you'll do a plug later, but we're going to have a transformation cut. We recently did one with one of our ambassadors for balayage, 4 ways to balayage. So a lot of master styling, as well as tips and tricks when it comes to Instagram, using social media to build your business. So there's lots of education around that. And then events as well, in-person events, sponsorship or participation. We a lot of trade shows as well. So we secure ambassadors to represent us at events. And I will actually mute myself and turn it over to Julia to walk us through all things social media, blogs, and virtual education.
Absolutely. So for everyone who is following along with us live, as we are discussing these various topics, I've been dropping the links for them into the chat. For people who are watching this webinar later over YouTube, just so you know, if you go to the Booksy Biz Instagram, which is at Booksy Biz, so BOOKSYBIZ, you can go to the link in our bio and you can find all of these links. You can find links to our current campaigns where you can see how ambassadors are involved. You can find links to upcoming webinars and links to our blogs and all the things that I'm going to be talking to you about right now as well. So just so you know, even if you're watching this after the fact, those are still available for you. And for everyone who is in the webinar right now, don't feel like you have to click that link right now. It's okay. Once the webinar is over, the chat will still be up and those links will still be available for you to use. So just so you know. Now, with that being said, I'm going to take you into the world of the social media side of ambassadorship for just a moment. So Taz is, of course, our U.S. Ambassador Community Manager, and she is the #1 point of contact for anything ambassador related. And then if ambassadors are talking to me, there might be a couple reasons for that. Maybe, like Alex and Leroy, they might be partnering with us for an educational webinar. Those are one of my passions. I absolutely love them. Point of fact, I'm going to drop a link in the chat right now. And this link is for upcoming webinars. So for instance, you can stay tuned because there will be all new Booksy educational webinars in 2022, including The Breakup Cut, a dramatic short hair transformation, which features Booksy Ambassador Taylor Levin. And then also in this first quarter of the year, there will be multiple social media marketing webinars that are designed for specific groups of beauty and wellness professionals. So that's really one of our big focuses when it comes to our webinar education, when it comes to our ongoing education, is to make sure that everyone in our provider community can see themselves not just as a professional, but also see themselves growing and excelling. And that's a big part of my conversations with Taz, is what ambassadors could we tap that will help us with teaching this educational experience, that will help us with teaching how to grow your social media presence as a barber or as a nail tech, that will help with demonstrating really cool, say, Instagram reels. And then if somebody's doing very cool Instagram reels that are making a difference and that our provider community is going, wow, those are neat, then Taz and I might together work with our blog content team and get those ambassadors connected so that they could be partnering with us on blogs. Now, we have two different types of blogs that we focus on at Booksy, and I'm going to drop the link for both of those as well. So here we go. We have blogs that are directly related to Booksy providers. So those are the blogs that a lot of you are going to see in the emails that you get from Booksy. They might be blogs telling you about upcoming webinars. They might be blogs telling you about new features in the app. But we have another blog. We have a Booksy blog for clients and customers. So in a recent article on the Booksy blog for clients and customers, you might see 2022 beauty and wellness trends for men. And so, you know, some of those are going to come from the Pinterest trend reports for the year, that sort of a thing. But you'll also see blogs in there where we are talking to amazing ambassadors in our extended category communities about things that people should be looking for upcomingly for hair or for nails, things like that. So we actually reach out to our Booksy ambassadors to help us with the content and make sure that it is relevant and that it connects with our community for our blog readers, whether that community is other providers or whether that community is the clients and customers that those providers interact with. So that's a really interesting juxtaposition where we really like to get to show off the mastery of our provider community. So you don't have to feel like if you can't lead a webinar, there's no other way for you to communicate, you know. And so something that we'll be looking at going forward is webinars that maybe focus a little bit more on profile completeness or on creating great reels, those sorts of things. So really very much our webinars, our blogs, even many of our IG Live series that focus on our ambassadors primarily, the focus on them is to figure out what it is that will make a difference for our provider community and how we can partner with our ambassador team to really fill in those gaps and to make that difference that people are saying that we want. So that might involve Leroy coming to us and saying, okay, I have a great idea for a reel and it's going to really help communicate this idea. It might involve Alexandra tagging us in like a really phenomenal, you know, start to finish nail look that's just crazy fast that we're like, yes, that absolutely needs to go in IG stories, for instance. We're doing that right now. So that's where I really see a huge intersection of our ambassadors with our online social programming and social connection, just really in terms of filling those gaps and making sure that everyone does have what they need to succeed. And then to answer a question that I saw earlier about TikTok, and I apologize, I've lost the poster's name, but to answer that question about TikTok, that is something that we are going to be focused on more in 2022. We just want to make sure that once we go into any social media platform that we're on, that we're giving people content that is relevant and worth them connecting with us. It was Drew. Thank you, Marcia. So that we make sure that any platform that we're on, we give people the content and the educational interest pieces that make it relevant to be on that platform. And that's really our goal. So if you see Booksy anywhere, we want it to be associated with quality content and quality information. And it's important to us from our perspective, and it's important to us because for me, I don't want our ambassadors to come to me and say, boy, Julia, I'm not really comfortable with that. So it really is our goal that as Leroy said earlier, if when you think of Leroy, you think of Booksy, I want to make sure that when you think of Booksy, you think of something that makes it worthwhile for Leroy or for Alex or for any of our ambassadors to be connected with the program. So I hope that makes some sense in terms of education and listening for what people in the community are needing. Actually, Alex and Leroy, I'd love to hear from both of you on where that makes a difference for you in being able to go, all right, this is what I want to talk about.
You can go ahead, Alex. You can go first.
Thanks, Leroy. I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Absolutely. So when you're having, primarily your conversations are with Taz and with me, they've already been decided. But when you're having those conversations about, hey, this is something that I'd like to take and run with. So actually for you, a great example might be the recent campaign. I dropped a link in the chat. I'll drop another in just a moment. But in terms of our recent campaign for Switch to Better Booking, because you were one of our faces for that. So what does that look like for you from your perspective in terms of the conversation and the content that you're both helping generate and that you're promoting after it's been created? Like, what does that experience look like for you?
So it's really cool. First, I want to say thank you even for asking me to do that as an ambassador. You know, that was so fun. And we always get to do such fun campaigns with Booksy. I mean, you guys, you're like content creating team, and like it's fascinating how creative everyone is, right? But I mean, I'm so sorry, I'm a little flustered. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I don't even know how to answer this question.
Let me see.
Yeah,
That's why I threw it over to you at first. I was like, what? Okay.
Take it, Leroy.
When it came to like the Switch to Better Booking thing with Booksy and talking to Taz, I loved it because we get to create creating content is not easy. So sometimes you got to really sit down and kind of like think outside the box and use other platforms to kind of search different things. So I had bought a thing of like some fake money from Amazon, and I was just tearing all this money up, and it was basically me describing that's basically what you're doing if you don't get the cancellation thing that Alex and I were talking about. When people canceling you, you don't have a deposit set down, then you're basically just tearing money up. So I just kind of put something together that way. But whenever I talk to Taz and she gives me like the call to action on what you guys want to actually have us produce, you could just be as fun as you want with it. So I love it. I think you guys should run the Switch into Better Booksy forever, because there's so many reasons to switch over to Booksy. And I mean, the list just goes on and on. It's very easy to be able to create that way because there's so many different reasons, as you said, the 24/7 booking, the cancellation fee, the what is it, the wait list, all these different things. So I love it. And I think that it's very and also too, you can add your own spice to it, right? It doesn't have necessarily got to be exactly to the T, but when you guys are just feeding exactly what you want, it makes it that much easier. I hope I answered that right.
You answered it better than I did.
That was perfect on both counts. I didn't mean to put either of you on the spot, but just for everyone listening, I hope that you take that as gospel. Leroy is truly, he is a master of specifically Booksy product related content reels. So when you think about seeing an ambassador online and you see them do something original that's them located in their shop where they are talking about the organization that they're partnering with, and it seems very organic and it seems very natural. First of all, it is a lot of work. But second of all, if you're ever going, who's a good example of that? I highly encourage you to check out Leroy's Instagram. I just dropped it in the chat again. But seriously, he is an example of the type of ambassador that will come to us with, I have an idea of how to express this specific idea. And that's a perfect example of the fact that you don't have to wait for someone to ask you for something. It truly is okay. And at Booksy, we absolutely love for the fact that our ambassadors trust us and feel confident in us enough to come to us and say, I have an idea for this. I'd like to share it. And it really lets us create some spectacular content. And it honestly lets us have product updates that we might not have had on the front burner to be the very next thing to happen. But because we can hear from our ambassadors who use our product and who say this is important, then we can know that it's important. So there's a lot of trust there.
Yeah. Another thing that because I know that Books is like very barber heavy. And so for me, I want to be able to, especially with Alex with doing nails, that people need to understand that it's not just for barbers, right? You could be a nail tech. Did I say it right? Is that the proper way to say it? Nail tech?
Yes, it is. It is. Nail tech.
Nail tech stylist, anybody that's in the health and beauty industry. So moving forward in 2022, I think that's going to be big for me to where because, I get hit up by a lot of barbers all the time, and there's so many different people that can actually use the app. And when it comes to creating content as an ambassador, the communication I have with Taz she's very easy to get a hold of, and she's pretty much open to whatever content that you want to put out, as long as it's nothing that's disrespectful or that's going to like tarnish the brand. You know what I mean? Obviously. So it's very fun. It gives me something to look forward to, because with or without Booksy, I'm going to put out content anyway. So it's better to, if I have a brand that's actually backing me, that people know about, that's becoming a household name when it comes to nail tech stylists, massage therapists, things of that nature.
Yeah, I agree. Lash artists, estheticians. I mean, the app is really, like you said, I want to say in the beginning it was like more barber based, but now has boomed into so many other beauty professional, categories that I think it'd be really cool to see all those different content creations from those beauty professionals as well.
100%. Now that we actually went very, very deep into the topic of content, I did want to ask both of you guys, since both of you guys do create content for us, amazing content, and we only get to see the end product. What would you say are some of the challenges of keeping up to trends, keeping up to date with trends in terms of content, making sure that your contents kind of fit the narrative, and then just talking about some of the challenges behind the scenes that we don't get to see in the life of an ambassador?
Definitely when it comes to, well, sometimes thinking outside of the box when it comes to content. Like, everybody wants to be a content creator, and it's very difficult. Like, the people that we see do it on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, you really have to be a type of person that thinks outside of the box. Now it's basically like you're making a commercial and you're trying to attract attention of people. How do you, and sometimes they give you 30 to 60 seconds and you want to be able to get as much of it into it as possible. It can be very hard. Or even when it comes to the editing of the video, the trying to set up your lighting, trying to set up your camera. And since I am still a barber, I have to find time to still be able to create this content and make sure it's good. So it's a lot that goes into it. But once your content is out there and Booksy helps you promote it, it makes it that much sweeter, because if I was just doing it by myself, it would just be me. But knowing that Booksy is a huge brand, there's so many different people that use it. Like, I'm an extension of Alex, you know what I mean? So I could take her stuff, which I'll start doing now, and put it on my page. So it's kind of like when you're with Booksy, it truly does feel like a family. I met a lot of different ambassadors when I went to I think it was the Connecticut Barber Expo. And there were so many different ambassadors there, and it's just all around love. You got nail techs, you got massage therapists, you have the hairstylist. So everybody could kind of like bounce off each other. And there are so many people, even as I was looking at Alex's page, and she has so many followers, people that really believe in what she does and has a huge following. So I think that it's amazing.
Thank you. I agree. I was saying, like, being a part of the Booksy team, it's really about, it's family. Like, you get to meet so many cool people, so many cool, content creators and stuff. And I want to say, for me, like Leroy was saying, getting in that creative space sometimes takes a little bit of work, and sometimes you're just like not in it, right? So I love to get a lot of inspiration off of like TikTok or Pinterest, or even other, influencers who are doing content. The editing, I was actually doing a video yesterday, and iMovie is just not fun to use, but just figuring that out and all that stuff. So You know, to be in the beauty industry, we have that creative gene, if you will, anyways. So creating content is just like an extension of that. So it does get really fun being able to create content, but it is a lot of work, you know, having to set time out after, you know, working those long hours is really important. But it's really fun. And like Leroy was saying, you know, having the backup from Booksy, it's not just ourselves, you know, promoting it or putting it out there. You know, we do have the big brand behind us. So it's even that more impactful.
Love it. Love it. Beautiful. Thank you guys so much. Just quickly turning back over to the presentation, because I know we are nearing the clock here. But this conversation is so engaging that I kind of lost track of time there, just listening to you guys. So just as we bring this conversation to a close, you know, just for our guys who are tuned in, if this is something that you guys can resonate with, you know, just speaking to Alexandra, to Leroy, listening from, you know, their point of view, being an ambassador role, and who we're looking for. If you guys were able to relate to anything that was, you know, said on this call, and if it is something that you are interested in, this is exactly who we are looking for. You have presence. So establish and engage networks. You have strong online and offline presence. Remember what I said, it's not necessarily just about your audience, but it is about that influential engagement in terms of who you are able to reach. You're passionate about mentorship and education. You do want to make sure that, you know, your direct counterparts or counterparts as well succeed. They're able to see the value in Booksy as you have seen the value in Booksy, and you're able to advocate for us in that regard. And that you are a content creator. Like Julia was saying earlier, this is not the only way that you are able to become an ambassador. We have many other opportunities when it comes to education, when it comes to events. But when speaking about us on socials, we do favor creating content. So you're passionate about Booksy and skilled at creating engaging content to promote our brand as well. And I think that brings us to how you guys can get in touch with us if this is something that you are interested in. So if my screen actually loads, there we go. So there's a few ways you guys are able to get in touch with us. So we have a website with a tab called Ambassadors. You are able to there's a little button that says become an ambassador. You are able to send us your information and we'll get in touch with you. You can email us directly. So this is my email. Julia, if you could just pop it into the chat as well, that would be great. And then also your local Booksy rep. Don't forget about them. They are able to refer you to us and advocate for you in order why you would be a good ambassador. And before we wrap up, I wanted to seek some advice from Alex and Leroy. For anybody interested in becoming a Booksy ambassador, do you have any advice for them?
Yes, I would definitely say be strong on your content creations on every platform, including Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and tag Booksy. I wouldn't recommend messaging. Just it gets lost, but I would definitely recommend tagging, using the hashtag as well, Booksy Pro, Booksy Biz, Booksy Content Creation, just so that way, you know, we're being able to see your stuff frequently, and it's kind of like a, hey, I'm here, hey, look at my content, you know. So I would definitely recommend that, tag, and hashtag.
I would say for those out there who are thinking about becoming an ambassador, just really understand that it's bigger than just being an ambassador. Like even when you're not putting stuff on the internet, you're representing the brand. Period. If you are an ambassador of Booksy, that means anything that you're doing in public, you have to really walk the walk and make sure you're keeping a very clean reputation, which I'm sure is easy for people to do. But just understand that this is a huge brand. And it's a lot of opportunities for you guys. So just when you wear the Booksy on your shoulder, wear it well. Like wear it well and just really try to keep it positive and just understand that, you know, we're welcoming you with open arms. We're a family here. So anybody that wants to be an ambassador, you are an extension of myself as well.
I love that.
Something that I want to throw out, I saw this in the chat from a few people, most recently from Farron, asking, do you feel that it's important to have a calendar for content creation? And then from a few people earlier asking if they're asking about the specifics of number of posts and stories. And that is dependent on campaign, that's dependent upon a lot of things, but two things that are pointed at with that question, and things that both Alex and Leroy emphasized earlier that I just really want to call attention to and make sure it doesn't get lost. Being an ambassador in many ways truly is like having another job. It's a job that partners and aligns with the job that you have. But that aspect of time management, it's astoundingly important. And the fact that our ambassadors can do what they do, and they can take these briefs that they're given about a campaign or about a reel or about a webinar, and they take them and they ideate and they generate ideas, and then they give us lists and they give us their responses and they partner with us, and they are always there, and they are always their commitment. And if they say they're going to be somewhere, their word, like truly our ambassador community, their word is gold. It's really remarkable. So I say that seriously as kudos to Alex and kudos to Leroy, because it's true and it's amazing. And I also say that to anyone here who has considered being an ambassador. I really would encourage you to just keep that so front of mind, of just that ability to truly be able to manage and own everything that you've got going on, and like being the master of your calendar from the social perspective. That's the number one thing that I want when Taz partners me with an ambassador. So I just wanted to
also too, when it comes to content, because sometimes it can get a little overbearing. If you have a off day to where, say, you could, because what I do is I'll create like 3 different things, so it's already ready for the month. Then the rest of the month I'm cool. So instead of trying to, like, you know, do it all at once, take a couple hours out of your day if you can, if possible, and just kind of, you know, get 2 or 3 different things done, and then the rest of your month you kind of clear.
That's a good one too. Like if a client cancels or something like that, I'll go ahead and do a Booksy post, or start doing like a Booksy nail reel or something like that. So just using your time wisely. I would definitely say, like Leroy said, if you can at least try and do like an off day, specifically for content creation, maybe twice a month, and getting 4 or 5 content pieces from that, those 2 videos or something, that would be perfect. But at least putting something out twice a month and tagging and hashtagging Booksy is, I would definitely recommend.
Love it. The key words that I did definitely take away from this is community, family, support, engagement, and content. So I love you guys for that message, because that's definitely something that we want to strive towards, something that we want to really harvest and maintain here at Booksy. Like I was saying, internally, company culture is a huge deal for us, and we make sure that anybody who's an extension of us is able to feel and replicate the same. So I'm so glad that you guys were able to amplify that message that we are trying to get across here. So I appreciate you guys. It's lovely. Julia, are there any questions for us to answer before we hop off, or do we have some more time in terms of the webinar link not expiring?
So everyone, you agreed to be here for an hour. It has been an hour. You've given us your time very generously. We can, in terms of time, we can stay on for a few more minutes if people would like. I think we've hit the main points in the questions that we've received so far. I'm just going to drop a couple more last minute links into the chat, just emphasize a few things. And also, we just wanted to make sure that you knew, if you weren't aware, if anyone here has thought this is really cool, and also, boy, that app sounds kind of really neat, maybe why don't I have this yet? And I've seen some of you say, I saw Alex post about this before, and I joined Booksy because of Alex, and I saw those posts in there. You guys are amazing. But I'm going to drop this in the chat now, because if you are not already a Booksy provider, you can switch to better booking with Booksy. You can follow that link right there when we're done. And actually right now we are at the very end of a promotion where you can get your first 3 months of Booksy for $1. And when you go onto that website, you can see Alex in all of her stylish glory, talking it up as one of our Booksy ambassadors. So don't forget about that. Also, we've dropped in a link for our upcoming educational webinars. We have a breakup cut, short haircut transformation at the end of the month. And then we have some social media specific content creation webinars coming up yet this quarter. So Alex, Leroy, if there's anything else that you guys would like to throw in, I'll keep an eye out for any quick last minute questions that I may have missed. But as of now, I think we're good.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
I'm good. This was so fun, and I hope it was extremely informative for everyone else. Everyone who joined, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you so much, Julia and Taz. I mean, we are an extension of you guys, and we do great because of you guys. So thank you for being so awesome to us, and I can't wait to do more webinars with you guys. Also, if anyone has any questions, you guys can message me on Instagram if you guys have any ambassador questions or want some content creation inspo and stuff like that. I'm always here to help. You guys can always message me or email me too. It's on my Instagram as well.
Yeah, thank you guys for showing up for this, taking the time out of your day. I'm hoping that this year is going to be good for everybody. 2022 should be a solid year, so I'm praying that it'll be good. But welcome to the Booksy team.
Absolutely. Well, Alex and Leroy said it best. There's not much more for me to say. But again, thank you guys so much for joining. Like I said, first of many. And I hope that we were able to answer a lot of the questions that you may have. Else, you guys have our contact information. If you would like to be a Booksy ambassador or express any interest in it, please do get in touch with us. We'd love to, set up some time, talk you through our program. And if there's any questions hereafter, happy to answer them as well.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
All right. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.